So my friends, there are two things that I think you need to know about this sunset lamp. These things are really trendy, popping off on TikTok and Instagram and other social media right now. And they're interesting. There's some cool things about them, but there's two things I think you need to know before you decide whether or not to buy it. Before I dive into those two things first, I want to just talk about some of the features and go through the setup with you. So the setup is really easy. There's a QR code on the back side of the control panel that takes you to the app in which you can control the light. Now, you don't have to use the app to control this light. You can, I'm gonna go over this in just a second, but you can use the buttons on the light to make some selections. You don't have as many options, but you can definitely use it without the app. If you're like me, I don't love to have a ton of different apps on my phone that I don't use all the time. So, but this is, I mean, so it's really versatile. You don't have to use that. But if you are gonna use the app, I already downloaded it. I scanned the QR code on the back of the control panel and it gave me this Me RGBW app right here. I'm gonna open that up. And you just agree to the terms and confirm. And you allow the Bluetooth, and then we're gonna add a device. Now, immediately it senses the sunset lights, and I'm gonna add that. I'm gonna keep it named Sunset Lights, and now we're done. Now you can see it a lot better. All right, so now I have this full RGB panel, so I can use the wheel to move it around and change the color to however I want to change it to. So there's purple and blue. I mean, just millions and millions of colors. You can hit the center as well and try to get it as close to white as possible. You also have the scroll bar here, so you can pull through that and it will take it to that. So whichever one's easier for you, this bar or the circle. There's also scenes which you can set. So sunset scene, that's beautiful. I hope you can see that all right. One other thing, I'm gonna close this. There we go. Now you can see it. And this is really cool because it starts to get this effect, which is really fun. But you got forest, you got midsummer sun, oh my gosh, sunrise, ghost, yes. It's really cool because it has these amber or these different colors around the edges, and it just creates a really cool mood. You could do tropical twilight. I'm not gonna go through all of these. One of my favorites is this autumn gold. It's beautiful to have that in the background. And then if you're into video or photo or whatever, you can create really cool effects and shadows and all of that sort of stuff just based off of this light. And it's a really fun thing to play with. You also got neon lights. A couple other options is you can set it to music. So it'll turn your mic on and it will actually sense the mood of the music that you're listening to. And then you have white noise as well. So they have their own noises and then it'll run the light with that, right? And you can have different options there. So you have running water, you have train sounds. I don't know, that's kind of not that relaxing. Rain. And you can set a timer to turn it off and turn it on. And then you have the brightness bar here, down at the top, up at the top, sorry, so that you can change all of those settings. Before we dive into operating it manually with the remote here, I wanted to talk about a couple of the features of the actual unit. So one thing to be aware of is that this top part can get hot. That's one thing I wish I would have understood before I bought it. Not that it would have changed my mind, but I just wanted to know. The other thing is the cord length is you've got two sections of cord. So you got one section and then you got the remote and then another section. I don't know why they do this. I don't know why they build things like this. I do wish the remote was just up here by the light or by the plug-in. It's a standard USB-A plug that you plug it in with. So you've probably got a million of those blocks around the house. I've got a strip that has one of those in it so I can just plug it straight into the power strip. The first section of cord is about 4 feet. The second section of cord is about 3 feet. So in total, you've got about 7-ish feet of cord with the remote in the middle of it. You can also take the entire light apart. So you can take off the bottom here just by unscrewing it like so. And then you can take the top part off like so as well. So you've got 3 basic pieces of this light, and it assembles and deassembles, or assembles and takes apart really, really easy. There's also a nice foam base on the bottom here, so it's not gonna scratch any of your surfaces. It's really light to the touch, and you can put it on any surface and it's not gonna damage it. Okay, let's talk about manual controls. So manual controls obviously reduce your options by a lot. It basically takes it down to standard RGB colors and dimmers. So you have a power button on the remote right here in the middle, so you can turn it on and turn it off from this, I'm calling it a remote, but it's a switch really. So let's turn it on. And then here you can change the dimness. So this is like probably 4 or 5, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So there's 5 levels of dimness when you think about this, or when you're controlling it manually from the remote or from the switch. You can change the color. That takes it, looks like that button just takes it back to white. Yep, and both of those are dim switches, okay? So then on the top and bottom is where we can switch through the colors that are available. So we have a blinking, all types of colors, slow fade, and these are effects. Each color is slow fade, solid colors, and there's still lots of them, and it'll just cycle through and then it'll go back to this blinking different colors. The top button, same thing, no difference, it just goes through the colors until eventually you get to a slow fade from color to color. So the other one's a fast blinking from color to color, this one's a slow fade, and then into each individual color. So there's a lot of different things you can do with the remote, not as much as with the app. But I love this thing. I love it as a mood setter. It's a really cool ambient piece to have, even if you're having a party or whatever, and you just place this thing somewhere on the wall. It just is a really cool, it sets some mood, especially if you put it to the music or some sort of sunset setting or whatever. I think it's a really cool idea. I've enjoyed playing with it, and I hope you like it as much as I do.